So a year back, I was laid off from my company. It was my first company. I was having just 9 months of experience at that time, and it was quite difficult for me. And at that moment, I thought, okay, the world is over for me. My tech career is gone. With such less experience, where will I get a job, and how will I survive? But fast forward to today, I'm working at the same company and I got promoted. So what happened in between and how did I actually come back and what did I learn from this experience? So going back, so to tell you a bit more about myself, so I am a software developer. So talking about my first company, it was I got an offer from that company as a part of the campus placements. So it was quite an exciting company to work on because before that, all the products which I was making, all the internships which I had done was completely software-based companies and software-based products, right? But here in this company, I was getting an opportunity to work with industrial systems. It was more of software plus hardware combination. So it was quite interesting because had never seen that side of software. You can say for me at that moment with starting off my career as a full-time employee, it was a dream company for me because it was an MNC. It was everything was good. The offices were quite good, and these things were something which I always wanted to have. And the people there were quite encouraging. There was work-life balance, and I was getting to work on products which I always wanted to work on. I was working very hard there. Um, I was working day and night in fact, because it was something which was quite exciting to me. So I took off more effort and I used to actually work up till very late every day. Not because someone was pressurizing me, but because I felt so. Because sometimes you connect to some products and some softwares that some projects that you want to make sure that everything goes well. So what happened was I continued to work for around 8 months, 9 months over there. So so what happened was there was some kind of uncertainty going on in the company because the section of the company we were working on was being sold to an asset management firm. So at that moment, we thought, okay, we were being told that this won't be impacting our careers, and it was something quite normal in industries. So we felt, okay, that's okay. We hope that it's not going to affect us, but at the end, it affected us. So what happened was that after 9 months, I was laid off from that company, and not only me, there were 70 other people too who were laid off. So at that moment, getting laid off from such a company wherein you always wanted to work on, and I was emotionally invested in those projects, it was quite tough. And since it was my first job, I was not expecting that in the first job itself I was going to face a layoff. So plus at that moment, because of AI and all those things, the layoffs were happening all over the places, and it was uh, I felt that, okay, how will I actually get a job now? Because first of all, the barrier was that my experience was quite low. It was just 9 months. I went in a very negative mind frame. It was actually quite challenging because I was not able to think. I was just thinking about how can I get a job. It was quite tough. So So what I did at that time was when these things were going, my parents gave me huge support at that time. And what I did was I actually went for a short trip of 3 days trip. So it actually allowed me to break from that particular environment. I got refreshed. I came back. I prepped hard. So I started prepping DSAs and interviewing. Not interviewing. Applying for multiple jobs, approaching people for referrals, and uh, doing a DMs to HRs and all the other people on LinkedIn. So I was applying to 30 40 companies daily. It continued for a month, and after that, I received one or two interview opportunities, but it didn't go well. I was rejected on those interviews. I got to learn many things. So during that period, I so you tend to think about what people think about you because you got a job, and after that people expect you to earn, and people think, and you generally don't tell this kind of information to anyone that you're laid off or you're not working, that is you're jobless right now. So so people start asking questions, and you start to think about what people think about you, right? So this things were quite challenging in my mind. So I actually also started to question myself. uh, I started asking questions which I wasn't asking previously, like um, what's the purpose of my life? I mean, what will I do if not tech, something else? What will I be doing? So these questions were right questions, but again, at that moment, it was quite distressing, right? Then what happened was, after 1.5 months of the layoff, I got an opportunity to interview at a startup. So since being a startup, I knew that if I got an opportunity, it was going to be tough. Um, I took that opportunity because at that moment, the only thing which you want is a job, right? So I took that opportunity. I went, gave the interview. I was fortunate enough to get selected. It was a small startup, so going the package was quite well compared to my MNC, the first company I was working at. It was quite good for a 1 year of less than 1 year of experience. So again, so I had thought of, okay, it's a startup and things will be challenging, but when I joined the startup, it was quite tough. So it was like a complete war zone kind of environment. The product of that startup was quite good. It was quite challenging. I got to work on many good things during my startup in the first few months itself. I was working daily, day and night for the features, and I was actually experiencing the hustle. So that actually helped me shape my career, because uh, you know um, early on when you get into a startup, you get your hands dirty, you get to work on production systems. So it was technically it was quite good for me, and it has played an important part in shaping up my career. But talking about, again, startups, so there were quite a few concerns over there. The Because in startups, the pace is quite high, and sometimes you get so burnt out that it starts to get a toll. It starts to take a toll on your health, and that started happening with me. So after 3 months, I was completely exhausted, and daily working 10 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours, traveling 3 hours with no work from home, and uh, you know people pressurizing you for deliveries and all those things happening. So I thought that I may be able to hustle, and it is the age to do the hustle, and go ahead and do things and get work done. But I don't know, I mean, it just didn't click with me. um, it was taking a toll on my health, and not only me, it was happening with everyone in that company, since we were quite a few people over there. So after 3 months, 4 months, I decided to. I talked to my manager. I tried to get things sorted, but again, the environment was such that the company was not a great fit for me, and maybe I was not a great fit for the company. So I decided to put my papers down. So again, it was a tough decision that but it was an important decision because it was taking a toll on my health. Now the next thing was to I now have put my papers down. I have to find a new job, right? Now it was at that moment it felt like why am I doing that? But I just put my health on my priority and I just went through it. So I took around 3 months of a notice period. The manager was quite understanding and he gave me that period to search jobs. So then started the notice period. It was quite so it was quite challenging to come back into the zone, the after layoff zone of finding jobs because I never expected that I will again be back in that zone because I thought that maybe I will stay at that startup for a year, but again it was not quite possible for me to stay at that startup, right? So I went out again, started applying jobs, and but this time I had to manage my job plus the job finding um, timings as well, right? Because I was working at a company and also finding a job and was in a notice period, so it was and daily that days were reducing, so it was also a quite pressure environment for me. I gave one or two interviews here and there, but again it was I got an offer from a startup again, but the reviews of those startup were also similar to the company I was working at, so I didn't want to ruin another 6 months or another 8 months again at a startup of that kind of those kind of reviews, right? Because I didn't want to end up at another toxic company. So what I did was then something interesting happens. So I get a call from my previous company manager, the first company manager, where which was my first company. So he actually told me that a job role is open. So would I be interested? So I was taken aback because first of all I never expected this. But then he told me that since you were very hardworking at that company, we thought you can come back. And I thought, yes, if I thought emotionally about it, I would not go back to that company because it was the same company which laid off me, right? So what I did was I thought from logical perspective. I was looking for a better work-life balance company, a better product company, a better company which suits my work style. So I thought I have already been there for 9 months. I know the product well, and they are calling me back. So why not? It's kind of uh, they remove me, but they are also calling me back again, right? So I just decided to join back the company. So the formalities happened. I got an offer from there as well. I got a fine increment on my previous startup offer. Then I joined that company. So the startup company I stayed for 6 months. Then I joined back my first company at a higher position. Then it was so after coming back, it felt very good because um, it happens very less that you joined back a company after getting laid off, right? So it happened with me. I was quite happy after coming back, but this time when I came back, I was more cautious. I was more, technically improved because the startup actually helped me shape my career and grow technically. Of course, the it also helped me grow emotionally because the kind of pressure I was working on in the startup, in front of that, the pressure in this MNC or any company would not be to that level, right? So I actually was quite happy here. I got to when I got back, I got an opportunity to lead a project. So I am currently working in that company. I recently got promoted as well. Now, what did I learn from this layoff, right? So the first and the most foremost thing which I learned during this layoff phase was that we should never think of what people think about us. Again, it's quite it's easier said than done, but you have to understand this thing because people generally don't think much about us than what we think they will think about us. So we are just wasting our time thinking about people. And just imagine this. I mean, why are we on this earth? We are here to experience few things, right? We are here to experience good and bad, everything which comes along the way of our life, right? So why worry about people's opinion? That should be the least amount of time which you should invest your mind on. So first of all is never think about what people think about you. Secondly, everything happens for good. If and nothing goes waste. So if I had not worked really hard at my first company, maybe I would have not get got called back from that same company. So that actually taught me that maybe if you're working really hard and if you don't see that it is getting awarded, it will be awarded in some way or the other, right? So never stop working hard or giving your 100%. The third thing, which is quite something which I learned from a layoff, is to never be comfortable. Now, what I mean by never being comfortable is that uh, people get complacent, working at a company. They just do their office work and then go back home and don't prep up or upskill. So upskilling is quite important because you never know what a 5 minutes meeting you are called for might end up being a meeting where you're laid off from the company, right? So you should never take anything from granted. You should always upskill yourself, uh, even if you think that you are in a comfortable position. This is something which will help you grow continuously and not be complacent. um, so don't be hard on yourself if you're going through a layoff. It's quite normal nowadays. um, this everything, as people say, this too shall pass. And this is, think of it as an experience you're experiencing in life. You are here to experience things, right? So think of it as a small bad experience, a small bad phase of your life, and it will be good then. So just keep that in mind. So don't think about others, think about your journey. Don't think lot don't dwell upon bad experiences, um, and just keep moving forward. So now, why am I posting this video? So this channel is where I will be documenting my journey as a software developer, my learnings, my products, uh, navigating through AI, growing as a software developer. So this is the place I am will be posting the videos or based on what I learn. Maybe this those things will help you, or maybe I can learn from something from you guys. And I'm not an expert. I'm just sharing my experiences, and yeah, that's it. So thank you for being there, and thank you for watching this video.